Streaming. Hello guys and welcome to today's show. We are live on the TVR universe. If you've only just joined us, I'm Dave and I'm just checking out the microphone. Boom! So, welcome to today's podcast. I'm Dave from TVR Creators. You are part of the TVR universe and you all rock. On today's show, I'm going to give you lots of hints and tips and guidance and ideas and things that you can do to grow your channel, and there's so much to look forward to, so do not go anywhere. Now later on the show I'll be giving you a few little secrets, and also I'll be doing a Q&A. So as you can see, today's going to be jam-packed because we are live. You're going to get value from this video. So, loads of videos going on. So, I just want to start off this podcast by saying I hope you're well and safe and all your lives are starting to slowly go back to normal. And on today's show, I want to give you some real hints and guidelines and little things to really help you push your brand. So one thing I'm going to look over today and tell you about is thumbnails. Now, this is something that I'm constantly evolving and changing, experimenting with, and I'll encourage you to do the same and to find your style. But what I would really say is keep your thumbnails as basic and as simple as possible, because quite often less is more. So experiment with just pictures, or maybe just a single picture sort of highlighting what you're talking about and maybe 2 or 3 words. It really is important to sort of appreciate and take the thumbnail and the title as almost like a partnership. So, the title supports the thumbnail, and then make sure the first part of the description sort of like backs up that. Because what YouTube does, it looks at the title, picks up certain words, and it will show that video to who it thinks will be searching for that particular topic. And the description just gives YouTube a bit more of an idea of who to target and stuff like that. So bear that in mind. And what I would say about your descriptions is, underneath your main description, make sure you put links to other videos that you want people to go to, perhaps playlists. And you're probably thinking, how do I do that? Well, it's quite simple. If you just go into your YouTube studios, you can click on one of your playlists and literally just copy the link, paste it into the description of the video. What I sometimes do is I'll copy and paste it into, say, a notepad or Word document, just so it's easy, and perhaps you can put all the links together, and then you can sort of copy and paste them. And what you could do, actually, this is something I do, is I will put it all onto Word or Notepad, just because it's a simple program, easy to use. Or if you're using your phone, you could do it on your sort of phone notes, that sort of thing. And you could just put in all the links you want, all in the same place, maybe a little generic description that you could just alter each time. But then all your links are then set up. Now you can actually do this in the YouTube settings, which is something else I highly recommend. But also just think about, it's an easy way to get people to click onto other videos of the playlist. So something to just bear in mind. And something else that I would highly recommend is, maybe just putting just 2 or 3 tags at the bottom. YouTube only tends to use about 3 anyway, and then that will also help to grow your channel. Now going on to more views for your channel. Obviously, it's all about content and quality. And the age-old question is, how long or when should you post your video? This is something I see a load on YouTube all the time. And I would highly recommend, if you want to be serious about YouTube, doing at least 1 video a week on whatever your topic is. No matter if you're a musician, a gamer, whatever you are, do at least 1 a week. And even more importantly, try and make sure, or really make sure that it's the same time. Consistency is key. Now there's 2 sides to that. YouTube likes that, because if it sees that you're posting the same type of videos on, say, like a Tuesday night or Wednesday or Friday morning or whenever you post, YouTube will go, oh, this is cool, this is consistent, he's obviously a bit more serious, and it will tend to show it to more people. And also, more importantly for you personally, is also your viewers, your audience, the people that watch your stuff will sort of get used to, oh, cool, Tuesday, like this podcast, you're starting to think, Saturday morning, Dave's podcast, here we are, sort of thing. So sort of bear that in mind. It's just one of them. So think about your thumbnails, think about your descriptions, and then something else I get asked a lot: can you use your phone, or what camera should I use? Now you can see I've got some cameras over there, and they're just old ones I don't really use nowadays. But it's crazy to think that actually you can use your phone. I know so many people that are just like, Dave, I want to get started on YouTube, but I just don't know where to start. I don't know what equipment to use, you know, all this sort of thing. What I'd recommend if you're just getting started, now I know I appreciate this is something that I've gone over before, but you know, if you're new here to the, you know, the TVR creators, this may be something that you're maybe thinking about now. Perhaps you want to start a YouTube channel this week, perhaps you want to just make videos and all this sort of thing. It sounds silly, but you can use your phone. It's so that you can now film on your phone. The film quality, and I'm sure most you know, is probably just as good as most sort of, you know, sort of first-rate cameras, or even a lot of cameras now. Obviously, the pictures you can take on your phone are just as good as most cameras, unless you go for something really, you know, pro. And so, you know, and they get to a level now where you don't need to necessarily rush out to get a point-and-shoot camera or think, oh, what camera do I need? Now, obviously, later on, if you're going to make your videos more professional, and you want to think, well, I want to go to the next level and all this sort of thing, then obviously that's what you need. But ultimately, you know, just start with your phone. You can just film on your phone. You could perhaps just start off with a video blog or whatever you're passionate about, just stream a game. Or perhaps if you're a musician, you can, you know, record yourself playing or singing or whatever it is that you do. Or if you're a cooking channel, whatever your channel is, you can just start with your phone. And what I would highly recommend, you know, because for a lot of YouTubers, you know, you might have a family member or friend that could perhaps hold the camera for you. But what I'd highly recommend, so you don't have to rely on that, or perhaps, you know, you might not have anyone close to you that's perhaps that interested, just bear that in mind. You know, get a tripod. It sounds silly, but your tripod will be your best friend. And I highly recommend a tripod. Now, you know, if you're pushing a brand, or you're perhaps starting a new business on Facebook, or pushing it on a, you know, YouTube channel, I would highly recommend a tripod, because, you know, like I'm doing now, my tripod's holding my camera, and you can get ones now that come with, I haven't got one on me, sorry, but you can get ones with little phone grips, and they're just really useful because they just hold your phone. You can just press record and off you go. And another little tip I'd recommend, like I'm doing now, and you can see this here, is I'd highly recommend just having the camera at eye level or just slightly higher. It looks more professional, it makes you look nice on camera, and you don't get that awkward sort of like, you know, monster look where, you know, you're showing your 50 chins. I know that sounds bad, but, you know, let's face it, a lot of us are subconsciously vain. We're all sort of like, oh God, you know, what do people think? And so you want to make yourself look as nice as possible, if you will. So, you know, the easy way to do that is let the camera do the work, make it easy for yourself. Now, two parts of every video that I'm going to go into sort of briefly today is audio and lighting. Obviously, whatever your camera you're using, but let's just say you're using your phone. Now, at the moment, I'm using a floodlight. I've got two of these, but only tend to use one because it's so bright. I don't really need any more than one. And that's just a brilliant thing to use. Now, I'm not saying you have to go out and buy a light and all this sort of jazz, but I would definitely recommend just saying, you know, if you want to make your videos look more professional, or if you're pushing a brand and you just want the light to look more professional. And let's face it, you can use house lights, nothing wrong with that. You can sit by a window, get a natural light from the sun. There's lots of things you can do, but the cameras tend to like more natural light if possible. And for whatever reason, perhaps the sun isn't quite shiny enough, or perhaps you've got a darker room. And quite often, unless you've got a really good camera, quite often, even if you think it's bright, when you look back, you'll think, oh, that looks quite dark. And if you're not really an expert in editing, or even if you are, it just makes it so much easier for yourself if the lighting's good to begin with. Now, okay, you can edit it in post, or on your phone, or on your computer, but if you could make the lighting just simple and easy, you know, and set up and get it good, it just makes your life so much easier. So I would highly recommend just getting at least one floodlight, or maybe a couple. You can get a pair on, you know, eBay or any selling website nowadays, and it's just a brilliant way to start. And straight away you'll see the difference. It just makes the lighting look more professional. The camera loves that type of light, and it makes your videos look more professional. That's ultimately what you want. So if you're getting value from this video, and you like and share and subscribe to this channel. Well, Dave froze there. What was that about? I must admit, I just wanted some water because I was just like, woo. It's a bit stuffy today, isn't it? But anyway, so I would highly recommend getting some lighting And, you know, sort of bear that in mind. Now, if you haven't got that, or you think, oh, I don't do that, there are ways around that, and obviously don't look quite as good, but you can start with, you know, sit by a window, or perhaps if you've got lights. I know it sounds obvious, but it's amazing how, like, you know, just think, or at least thinking about these little things. And if you're doing it already, brilliant, you know, double thumbs up to you, high five, all the rest of it. But, you know, if perhaps you're thinking, oh, my video's a bit dark, how can I make, you know, I haven't got lighting, I haven't got the money to, you know, do a, you know, have a homemade studio or whatever. You don't have to do that. You can just use the sun. Now, the other part of the video is audio. Now, it sounds silly, I know, but you can actually get, and I think this works more on iPhones, but you can get adapters on iPhone and on Android phones. And you can actually get little microphones that just clip into your jack, and you could just clip them on your top, or what, you know, whatever. Or you can maybe get a second tripod, stick it on a tripod. I've got like a mini one here. You can see here, this is my microphone in a minute, and I've just got like a mini tripod, and that just holds it nicely, and it just gives it a nice, and you know, you do have an internal microphone on a lot of point and shoot cameras, on a lot of Sony cameras on your phone, but if you can get a proper decent microphone, it just makes the sound quality sound so much better. And I don't know about you, but if you click on the video and it's got poor sound, or you can't quite hear what the person's saying, or you're just like, what, or it's fuzzy, or whatever, you know, instantly it puts you off. So if it puts you off, it'll put your audience off, and that's something else to bear in mind. So really think about your audience. It's something you really want to bear in mind. Now, what I would say with that is, obviously, the most important thing, if you don't take anything else from today, have fun with what you do. Whatever you're doing, enjoy it, because if you're not enjoying it, there's literally no point. But, you know, the next step from that, I would say, is make the videos okay for you because you want to enjoy it, but more importantly, make it for your viewers. So if you're a musician, for example, I'm not a musician, but this is an example I'm going to use because I'm always using gamers. You know, think, what would a musician like? You know, so obviously, you know, they might want to watch you play or sing, or play and sing, but something that I must admit I haven't searched for, but perhaps musicians might. You know, they might want to know how to string a guitar properly, or, you know, how to tune a certain instrument, or how to play something, or a tutorial or a review on a certain type of instrument, you know, stuff like that. So something to bear in mind. And the same with gaming. You know, you could have like gameplay, which is great, but there's so much out there, so it's really hard to find that niche, if I'm honest. But perhaps if you're doing, just something I'm pushing a lot because I just feel passionate about it. If you're doing like a video review on a game or a film or whatever, you can put your point of view across, and you'll get some people that agree, some people don't, but you're getting your opinion out there, and that's partly what YouTube's about, is expressing yourself, you know, getting your view out into the world in a positive way, because, you know, there's too much negativity as it is, but doing it in a positive way. And you'll probably find that people go, yeah, and you'll probably find that, you know, in the gaming world, perhaps they just happen to come across your review, and your review has made them, you know, play that game. Like, I know for a fact there's a couple of YouTubers I've been watching recently, and they do film reviews, and they've actually got me onto the series I'm watching in a minute, just by how good their review was. So just bear that in mind, you know, if you can bring value to people, I know this is something I say a lot, but if you can bring value to, you know, what people want, what people need, solving the problem. And this is my secret of the day that I'm going to give to you now. My secret of the day. Secret of the day. Here we go, after this. You're going to get value from this video. My secret of the day to you, if you don't take anything else from today, because I appreciate I'm rambling, is this: solve a problem. It doesn't matter what type of video you're making, what genre you're looking at. You know, if you're doing editing tutorials, gaming videos, film reviews, singing, dancing, cooking channel, woodwork, plumber, whatever it is, solve a problem. Because if you're not bringing value to your audience, if you're not solving a problem, or maybe teaching something, or entertaining somebody in some way, then in the nicest possible way, there's probably no point to your video, and perhaps that's why you're not getting the views, which is, you know, and something I just want you to bear in mind. So if you don't take anything else from this video, solve a problem and bring value to your audience. Think, you know, what is this video bringing to my viewers? What is the point of this video? And if you start thinking like that, you'll push your brand, you'll get more reaction, you'll get more engagement, you'll get people commenting on your videos, you'll get more likes, possibly more subscribers, and ultimately that's what we all want. So just bear that in mind. And I must admit, this is something that has taken me years really to truly understand on the level that perhaps need to start growing my channel. So this is something that I want you guys to think about. So really bear that in mind. And by all means, comment in the comments below what you think is important to you when you're watching a YouTube video. What is important to you when you watch a YouTube video? Are you just watching for entertainment value? Do you want to learn something? So yeah, put in the comments below at any point, live or later on if you watch this later, put in the comments below what is important to you when you watch a YouTube video. Just out of interest, to be interested. Now feel free for when I'm doing more questions, I'll get to the questions in a moment. And so feel free to send me some questions, and perhaps in another podcast I will answer your questions then. Or if you're live now, put me in the questions and I'll have a brief look to see what's going on. I'm just going to say hello to anyone that's watching. Hey, I can't even spell. Hello all. Right, so let's get on to the questions. So these are questions. Now, these are a mixture of stuff that people ask me personally, or if they sent me an email, or on Instagram, or Twitter, over the sort of last week or so. So here we go. The first question. What should I use to film my videos? Now, I appreciate I've probably gone over this already, but I'm going to give it a short answer, and it's going to be your phone, or whatever you've got at to hand. If you've already got a camera, brilliant. But I would personally start with your phone. Film with that, and then think about later about cameras. And we all know what camera I use. If you've been here for any longer than a few weeks, I'm sure you'll know what camera I mention almost every video. Let's see if I can get through a video without bringing it up. Right, next question. Right, best program or app to edit my thumbnails. Now, personally, I would say what is valuable to you. I would say whatever you find easiest. Now, personally, I sometimes use apps on my phone. I use an app called Polish sometimes, but more recently I use a mixture of like Photoshop, Paint, a program called MediaFace, which was just a freebie program I came across years ago that I do a lot of graphic work on. But find whatever's easy to you. Download. What I would recommend actually, download a few apps on your phone, just have a tinker around and see what what works for you, and just get that rectangle shape. And I do have it actually in my little book, the actual size that you need for your thumbnail. So I'll just give you that now, just briefly, as a little useful tip. It is 12 by 80 times 720, if that makes sense. Well, I'll put it in the comments below. So that's how big the thumbnail needs to be. So anyway, so answering that question to whoever asked me that, I can't remember who it was now, just think that size and use a program or app that's easy for you. Next question. Right. How many videos should I upload per week? Now, I appreciate we're probably briefly gone on that, but if you've only just joined us, I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I bring you weekly YouTube tips to help grow your channel. And the third question is today, how many videos should I upload per week? I'm going to say at least one. If you can get in more than that, great, but don't burn out, because if you burn out, and basically what I mean by that, you're putting too much pressure on yourself, you're making too many videos, you think, oh, I can't do this anymore, you burn out and you've just killed your channel before you've even started, and that was pointless. So see it as a long game. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Bear that in mind. Fourth question. What camera is best for YouTube? Now, I can't get through the video without saying I personally use the Canon M50 because it is a brilliant mirrorless camera. And if you want to check out my videos on that, go on my channel. I've got at least 2 or 3 videos purely on the Canon M50 and why that camera is amazing. But if you haven't got a camera, I would use whatever camera you got. Start with that. And, more specifically, as I've already said today, use your phone. What mic do you use for your podcast? Interesting question. This is something I got asked the other day on Twitter, and I don't know if I can show you it again. There it is. It's basically the Zoom H1 dictaphone, and it's a very good dictaphone, as I hope you can tell. It picks up good sound, and it is a very good microphone. To be fair, it did cost quite a bit, but it is what it is. So that's what I use for my podcast, and I've used that for films, or a couple of films. And sometimes I use it if I want to get maybe a sound effect and stuff like that. But again, you can use your phone as a sound recorder. You can buy, there's loads of microphones out there. I would personally want to spend any less than about 40, 50 quid. Otherwise, you know, you might as well just use your phone. So just bear that in mind.
Question.
What text, so can't say that word today. What text should I use for my thumbnails? It's an interesting question, actually. I see so many YouTubers they just have, like, you know, all fancy lettering or really small. And when you say anything to them, like, I just like it. Like, well, that's great. But again, going back to your viewers and your audience, if they can read it, if they can't see it, if it takes longer than a second to work out what it says, you've probably lost them. They're probably gone to the next video. You've got to think you've literally got seconds to grab someone's attention with your thumbnail. And if your, you know, writing's too difficult to read, people aren't gonna, they'll just be like, whatever. So I would basically say big and bold, something like Arial bold, or just something that's just big and bold, make it really big. Or perhaps don't use text at all, like I was saying earlier. Just try out just a picture and see how you get on with that.
Question.
Who should I make my videos for? Now, this is something I was asked on Instagram a few weeks ago, and I was a bit like, interesting question. Now, ultimately, you want to enjoy what you do, so you know, subconsciously you're doing it for yourself, but ultimately you want to make your videos for you guys, the viewers, the audience, because ultimately, you know, if you guys aren't engaged, you're gonna be out of it. You'll be like, yeah, see you later. So make your videos, whatever they are, for your audience, and, you know, look at all your graphs and stuff. But more importantly, just think, whatever your genre is, whatever your niche is, whatever your videos are about, entertainment or tutorial or whatever, educational, whatever, just think, how can I bring value to my audience, and what are my audience like, and who am I making my videos for? And they're the people you'll attract. And then just briefly going on from that, whatever you do, don't start and I've learned this the hard way, don't start making videos about one thing and then a few weeks later start making videos about something completely different, because then you're pretty much starting again. Because all the people that came to your channel and they like your videos and subscribe and whatnot, they'll be like, I didn't subscribe for this, and they'll be out of there. So just bear that in mind. If you want to do something else, by all means, I wouldn't recommend it, but have 2 or 3 channels even, if that's what you want to do, and just see which one grows. I mean, it's a lot more work. I personally wouldn't recommend that. Maybe just have 2 if there's 2 topics you're really passionate about, and then whichever one takes off after, say, 6 months or seems to get a bit more engagement, just concentrate on that one. And I'd really recommend in the early days as well, and really experimenting, especially if you're just starting out. So maybe, you know, if you're a gamer, this is an example I've used it again, but it's so true. Maybe do 2 or 3 gameplay videos on sort of popular games, or maybe niche games that has maybe a cult following, and then maybe do 2 or 3 game reviews, and then maybe do like help videos, you know, like how to kill a certain bad guy or get past a certain level, and then just see which one gets the most engagement, the most views, and then perhaps just concentrate on that niche down, and then make your channel about that. Okay.
Question.
Does it matter how many subscribers I have? Interesting. I must admit, I go through phases when I get really hung up if I haven't had a new subscriber for a week or so. Or sometimes, like the other day, I'll get 3 or 4 in one day, and I'm like, oh, wicked. Probably the brutal truth, no. It doesn't matter if you've got 2 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers. You want to make your videos for those people. Obviously, you want new people in. It keeps it fresh, and you obviously want, you know, and perhaps your regulars won't always be there and stuff like that. And to grow your channel, obviously, you need more people. But something I try to do, and I struggle with, but I do try to think this is, make your videos for the audience you have now, and if you get new people, thumbs up.
Question.
How would you get more views? I suppose this just follows up from the previous question, actually. Make good content. Regular, as good as possible. And something that I've really started doing since May is really not being like overly hard. I mean, I can be really hard on myself. But when you're making your videos, think, right, how can I make the next one better? Try not to get too hung up on, you know, learn from your video. So, you know, post it, you know, even if you're unsure with it, just post it. Don't get too hung up on it. Is it perfect or not? Post it. and then go, right, okay, cool. How can I make that better? How can I improve the audio? Do I need a better microphone? Could I get a better camera? Could I perhaps improve my lighting or my location, or put up some B-roll, which I'll talk about in the video perhaps, you know, some flashback video and stuff like that, you know, so bear all that in mind.
So if you're getting value from this video and you're enjoying the content, please give us a like and a share and subscribe to this channel.
Right, another question, here we go. Will you make any more films? Now this is something actually I was asked by a family member last weekend. Will I be making any more films? And the truth is yes. I am concentrating, as I'm sure you're more than aware, I am concentrating on my YouTube videos, pushing good content for you, the viewers, and, you know, bringing and learning stuff, and I'm learning so much. There really is a learning curve, and I will make more films, but, you know, just occasionally, maybe like once a year or once every couple of years when I've got a really good idea. And a bit like when I did with Dyslexia and Reel, I don't just want to make films for the sake of it. If I come across something that really interests me and I think, you know what, I want to make I'm passionate about that topic, like Dyslexia or my film Reel, then I'll do it again. But just for the sake of it, I probably won't, unless it's like, I don't know, I'm playing with the idea, maybe doing a jokey horror at Halloween, just, you know, just for a bit of fun. But on the whole, this is the content that I want to produce. So there you go.
You're going to get value from this video.
So I'm Dave from TVR Creators. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I hope you got some value from it. It's been great doing it today. If you watch this live, thank you so much for watching. It means so much. If you watch us down the road, later the weekend, in a week's time, whenever, thank you so much again. Feel free to comment below what you thought of this, what you like more from podcasts or from my videos in general. Feel free to check out around on the channel for lots of other great content on YouTube and building your brand and all that sort of stuff. So have a look at there. If you want to see what's going on within the TVR universe, just check out our Twitter feed at any point. The link's in the description along with other playlists and videos. And so if you want to see what's going on with projects and videos, just look at the Twitter feed at any time of the day and you'll be updated straight away on what's going on. So thank you again. Have a great day, great weekend, stay safe. And as always, guys, you guys rock.
You're going to get value from this video.